Why can't you love your spouse out of their addiction? Wow, that is a really deep question. I'm actually going to repeat it because I know that there's a lot of thought that goes into it. Why can't you love your spouse out of their addiction? So, we are unpacking some deep things. I'm in the middle of a series, and if you've been hanging with me, that's awesome. So glad to have you. I'm Mary Whitman Ortiz, Christian sex educator, relationship coach, author, and speaker, and I love to help couples to have great intimacy in their marriage. And if this speaks to you, please subscribe to our channel. We have new videos every Friday. I would love to have you be a part of that team. So, this series has been what do you do about an abusive marriage? And just kind of give you some encouragement along the way. If you already know you're being triggered, stay with me because I have some personal encouragement for you at the end. And let me see where I need to direct you. Before you can identify, is my spouse showing signs of addictive behavior, I want to actually give you a whole spectrum of what sexual intimacy can be like. And we'll have things at either end that would be an extreme. So at the negative extreme, you would see being, you'd feel like you're used or abused. And I know there's a lot of varied meanings that are connected to those words. And so we'll have to unpack those a little bit later. But used and abused is on the extreme end of the sexual intimacy spectrum. And then we would move over a notch, and this would be suppressed and manipulated. Now, some people feel like that is already abuse. And one of the ways that you can tell if this is an abusive expression is it a pattern? Has it been going on forever? I mean, is this a consistent way of your spouse relating to you? So that can be one way to qualify that it is abusive. I know traditionally people think of the word abuse and they think of physical violence, domestic violence. But we know that emotional abuse definitely fits in this category. And certainly, all addictive behaviors can become abusive because the addict, the person who is addicted to a substance or a behavior, they are not thinking in their right mind and they will just continue to act out, sort of regardless of how it impacts other people. And that is just harmful at any way that it plays out. So let's move sort of to the middle of the spectrum, and this would be unsure and uncomfortable. And there can be many reasons that you're there. I mean, it's sort of a nice place of denial. Denial is not a terrible thing if you're just not ready to dive deep and consider some things, as long as you're safe. You know, that's always my encouragement to spouses. Make sure that you are safe. But that unsure place can feel uncomfortable, like, I don't want to stay here. So we're going to keep moving over in the spectrum, and we're heading now towards the positive side, the other extreme. So the next level or place would be reserved but learning. And this is where I encounter a lot of couples. You know, they've got mixed messages about intimacy, whether it was from their family, their upbringing, their church culture. I mean, just living in our modern culture, the messages about sexual intimacy are all over the place. So reserved because, they just don't know and they're uncomfortable and so many things, but learning. So they're beginning to lean in to get some new understanding. And then you have the other end of the spectrum where I would say someone is expressive and healthy. So, healthy is a place of freedom, and it's not freedom to just do whatever you want regardless. No, no, no. It is freedom because there is safety in the relationship, there is nurturing and support and acceptance in the relationship. And because of that, you can trust and you can open up, and those are all signs of healthy intimacy. So you need to become familiar with where you think you place on that sexual intimacy spectrum, and then we will be able to unpack more about how to deal with an addict if you feel that the behavior that you're seeing in your marriage leans more and more towards that abusive place. Now, I just want to encourage you because as we stir these things up, I believe that God will bring light into the darkness. And you absolutely do not have to stay there. My personal encouragement is don't process this alone. Please reach out. I'm a relationship coach. This is one of my strong areas of meeting with people. And I know I've been there, and now I'm at a happy, empowered place, and I get to help people all over the world. So look for a link below to connect with me, and we can coach together. Thanks so much for tuning in today, and remember, great intimacy is one of God's gifts to marriage.